let's begin our video, shall we? Let's begin our video. Hello. Right, so we're having this problem lately where these two are fighting for my attention all of the time, and it's very, very stressful. And it brings me to the point, oh, there you go. He always goes and minds his own business after a while. Baby, you want to come inside? I didn't bring Teddy this time because I'm talking about these two. He's got in my bedroom. He's like, no thanks. I got these two in here today. Hey! Sorry, he was doing some curve with his body like he was about to do something. I got these two today because I'm going to do a video about something that they've made me think about, because it's just been a little bit stressful having the two of them wanting my attention all the time, and they fight so much. You can go your own way. You're such a baby. They've been fighting, they've been jealous, and then Shooty, because he's younger, he just winds her up all the time. So then anytime she comes towards me, like, he gets in the way, and then she like screams at him and stuff. And right, baby, I'm gonna put you over there because last time you just kept me from like using my vocals properly. You gonna go over there? I don't know if you can see, this light is like flashing so weirdly, and in real life it's not doing that. I don't know why it's doing that. So basically the title of the video today is called Is Monogamy Natural? Now, I had a whole vision for this video up until yesterday, because something happened yesterday in my life where I was just like, and so then I have a little bit of a spin on what I thought this video was gonna go like. But I want you to come along with me so we can figure this out. Is monogamy natural? Let's figure this out. The headline of the week today is that Lola is extremely jealous, and then Shooty is starting to copy her behavior, and then they just fight over me all the time, and it's so stressful. I'd rather just have one at a time. Hey! Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, I think I've worked it out. He curves his back to get comfortable. So their jealousy issues has just made me realize a few things. So let's just get into the subject so I can explain to you why I'm doing this video. So basically, I met Lola. She's the female. She knows I'm talking about her. She's looking at me. And it's so funny that she knows that I call her Lola, because every time I call her Lola, she just looks at me. So I met Lola and I fell in love with her. I've never felt this way about a dog before. Like, my heart melts for her. I just love her. I can't explain the feeling. I love her. When she comes, I get so happy, and she comes and she knocks on my door. She does this to my door. Every time she comes, that's the first thing. She just runs up the stairs and goes like this on my door. I'm in love with her. I love her. I don't know what happened. I didn't know I could love an animal like this, but I do. I'm in love with her. She's just the most beautiful thing ever. I swear I would give my life for this dog. I don't know why.
What?
Okay, my lips are dry. Give me a second. Are you really going to come back here? Because I need you to go lay on the sofa. And then you just come because she's coming just for the sake of it. I love you so much though. You're so cute. Right, go back on the sofa. Come. Excuse me, sir. This is not your place. And you go and lay on this sofa here. Look. Anyway, so I love Lola, right? And then I get Shooty. And straight away, she has a problem with it. And she's like, don't touch him. You two are not allowed to touch each other. And I was like, oh, isn't she cute? But like, he just kept pushing and pushing. And then I was just like, I really want to touch him. And I want to show him the same love. But every time I do, you could just see in her face like how hurt she is. And I started to feel like, is this how like people feel like when they're in long-term relationships? Like this like new little puppy thing comes along, and then it entices you, and then you want to touch it, you want to entertain it, and then like the one that you already have is like jealous, like looking like, oh, you want to touch her. And if I was like the long-term one, if I was Lola, I would be so devastated. It's like, excuse me, I'm the old one, am I? You're in love with me, but you want to touch that one, do you? So I was really trying to figure it out. Is this what people feel like in long-term relationships? Is this what monogamy is? Is monogamy a choice? And then because I'm so like, I want to be honest about what's going on, and I want to do the right thing, and I don't want to do anything that's forceful, and I don't want to do anything that's like, oh, this is the right thing to do. No, the right thing to do is to do what I feel like I want to do. And do I feel like I want to touch Shooty? Stroke him. And yes, I did, but Lola doesn't like it. So then I was really analysing the moment of what is going on here. And then I started feeling a bit bad for Lola, because like she was like the old one and he's like this new one. And then I was just thinking, but if he had just left me alone, I would have been happy with Lola. But because he's like immature and young, like he's just all up in my business, all up in my face, trying to get the attention. And if he hadn't done that, I would have been fine. I wouldn't have wanted to touch him, but because he's so eager, it just got me to want to touch him and stroke him and stuff. And if he had left me alone, I wouldn't have done that. So then I started again putting that into the human perspective. So is it the mature and immature thing? Like when somebody's a bit immature, they come into your life, they don't care what's going on, they don't care who you love or who you're with, they just come and they're like, give me attention, I want you to touch me, and they don't care about what's going on. And if this immature person didn't show up in your life and did that, then maybe you wouldn't want to go around touching new things. You'd be happy with and content with the one that you already have. But then I was thinking, wait, does that mean then that I'm immature because I'm allowing something immature to come in and disturb what I already had with Lola? So does that make me immature? So then I started analyzing that, like, so then maybe then there's levels to monogamy where it becomes natural and it's not natural. So I guess the more you're exposed to things and the more you've seen it all, right? So if I met a bunch of shooties, then maybe I wouldn't be so enticed to give him all of my attention while Lola's sitting there angrily looking at me. I'll just be like, oh, I've touched so many shooties, I'm fine with just Lola here. So maybe we haven't been exposed to too many things, so that's why we get enticed by the new one that comes in, because we haven't seen enough of it, we haven't touched enough of it. So then what we have that we're in love with gets pushed to the side a little bit, so then you could play with the new and entice yourself with the new. But I could imagine that if you've done that over and over, then the new wouldn't really do that. You'd be like, I don't know if I want to be that way though, because then that's a bit boring. Like, oh, I don't want to play, I'm fine just sticking with like my 1+1 here, I don't want to play with anything else. I feel like that's a bit boring. And is that immature of me? I don't know, right? So then I started to feel like, no, so then maybe we are supposed to touch the new, maybe we are supposed to have more than one then. So then maybe monogamy is not correct, because like, why do I naturally want to play with shooting? I know that I'm using dogs here, yeah, but I'm telling you, I swear this is what it's in most animals. I swear you can replicate the situation. So I'm allowed to touch Shooty. Does that mean then that we're allowed to touch the new that comes in, even though we have something already? And are we forcing ourselves to like be monogamous when really we should just be free to touch what we want when we want? But then if that's the case, then why is Lola jealous? Why was she looking at me like she's dying? And you could see the pain in her face, that she was upset. She doesn't like it. So if I'm allowed to go around touching everybody, why then does jealousy exist? And if I was Lola, I wouldn't even take you back, because she takes me back every time when I go to her. She's like, oh, is it my turn? Oh, I feel so loved. Me, it's like, nah, mate, you've gone to play. Stay over there. See you later. Don't come back. Because of jealousy. So then why does jealousy exist? And is jealousy another form of immaturity because you don't know your worth? So for example, maybe Lola could go and touch somebody else while I'm touching him, and then we'll come back together to show our love again, and then we'll go apart and touch different things. So, you know, are we playing the game incorrectly? And so then is jealousy a lack of understanding of what is going on? And so then you feel less than, when really you shouldn't. You should just go and celebrate yourself. If I'm here touching another, you should go do your thing. And then when we're ready to touch each other, we come back. So then I also can't help but notice that Lola, the feeling I have for Lola is much more intense than the feeling I have for Shooty. So even though he's so cute and I want to touch him and he's so cute, I have a deeper love for Lola. I do. I don't know if that's really bad to say, because if they were both my dogs, that's me saying that basically I love one more than I love the other, and that's actually terrible to say. But again, are we just like dishonest with ourselves and we're not really telling the truth about how we're feeling? So anyways, the feeling I have for Lola is more intense, yet still I do want to play with Shooty because he's cute. But I definitely want to play with one at a time, because when they're together it's stressful. So I don't want to have both of them at the same time because it's stressful. Can I please play with one and then play with the other separately, so they don't have to argue over me, because it's stressful when they start fighting over me and they argue and it gets loud and it just gets stressful. So I do want to play with them one at a time and not together. Anyways, I told my son I'm doing this video, and he told me to make sure that I explain what monogamy is right at the beginning of the video, and I totally forgot to explain what monogamy is. And basically monogamy is not about, you know, playing with one today, playing with another one 10 minutes later. Monogamy is having one to play with forever. Until you break up with them, until they die or until they leave, and then I could play with another one. And some people don't even believe in that. They believe in being a widow for life. So monogamy is when you choose one and you stay with one. And are we repressing? is that the word? Our natural feelings when we do that. Are we doing that? And I don't want to do that. I want to learn what it's supposed to be. And if my body wants to do something, why am I not allowed to do it? And this is how my brain works. So then I'm trying to understand, because for me, I want to be somebody's only desire. Okay, so now this is where it gets interesting, because now I use the word desire, which I didn't when I was making the notes here. Before I talk about desire, I just want to finish the points that I had here, right? Because maybe then the maturity and the immaturity is that, like, I love dogs. Oh my gosh, I love dogs. So I want to touch all of them because I'm just obsessed with them and they're brand new to me and I just love them. And my brain is in this kid-like state where everything is exciting and it's brand new and it's all just like, you know, you're lost in the soup, you're lost in the forest and all the trees are overtaking you and you're just like, so then maybe then after you've done all of that, you rise above all of the trees, you rise above all of the mess, all of the excitement, and then you see clearly, and then you're like, okay, so what do I want? So then maybe this immaturity and this maturity of having done it, having seen it all, is the difference between somebody who struggles with monogamy and somebody who doesn't. Because maybe then we're not supposed to be monogamous when we're in the middle of the forest exploring everything, getting excited about everything, and then you become monogamous when you've done that and you rise above it, and then now you could see everything for what it is. Okay, so I know what the forest is, I know what that is, I know what that is, now what do I want? And then maybe that's when you become monogamous, and then you choose something consciously with awareness, and that's what I want, and I really do want it, because nothing is going to come along, because now I'm above the forest, nothing is going to come along and entice me because I've seen it all, I've done it all. So maybe monogamy is a phase that comes with maturity, and maybe we're forcing people to be monogamous way too early when they're still in the mud of it all, exploring and tasting and seeing. And so then maybe when I've risen above the forest and I've seen it all, maybe Lola would be the one that I would choose because of the intensity of my feelings. But maybe I chose her too early because I was still exploring this excitement of seeing it all and doing it all and coming across white little babies. I know I'm using this as an example, it's so weird, but it's come up in my life, so I'm talking about it. Anyways, let's talk about desire for a second. You're so cute. She noticed that I was looking at her, and then she just stops and looks at me like, why are you looking at me? You're so cute. And look, she knows when I'm calling her cute because she does this face of like, yes, I am cute. You're wonderful. I love you. But please don't come over here because you make me talk differently. So, having said all of that, I'm trying to understand, because I'm talking about dogs here, so it's kind of hard now to put desire into that. But do I desire Lola? I desire to be around her. I don't desire to touch her. Oh no. No, I desire to touch her. No, okay, now I have to stop using a dog scenario because it's not going to make sense anymore. But basically, right, I think, yeah, that when we highly desire something, everything else disappears. So I feel like when you highly, highly desire something and you want it, you want it, and you want it so bad, I think anybody can come along and try to entice you. And because that's not what you desire, you don't want it, so you don't want to touch it. And it's not to do with maturity or not mature, or monogamy or not monogamy. It's that I truly desire this one thing. And it's funny because I ask loads of people questions because that's the way that I am, and I would ask men these questions of like, so what do you think about love? What do you think about monogamy? What do you think about this and that? And a lot of them, I don't know if they're a bit immature or not, but a lot of them would say that there's this one woman from their past and she's dangerous because she really did something to them, and they will never marry her because she's dangerous. They have to marry the safe one, and she's almost the one that got away, but then she got away because I can't marry her anyway because she's dangerous. Like, she makes me feel a certain type of way. And I don't know if this is like the man's first love or the man's true first love, and they call her danger, and they like put her over there, and I was like, really? That's so interesting. Why can't you just go and be with her? Like, nah because the feeling's too intense. Like, nah. I don't know if this is immaturity, right? But I feel like that there's a level of desire, which I guess we get exposed to sometimes in life, where you really want something and you don't want nothing else, and you want that. And anything else that comes in, no, I don't want that, I want that. Now the question is that when you get that, does it go away? Does the desire go away? In my experience, yes, it does. Right now I'm desiring somebody new, and the desire is like quite strong. And if I got him, to be honest, at this point, because I don't have him, I could imagine that if I got him, it will still remain the same because of how much I want him. So, and I can imagine it staying the same because of how intense the desire is of like what I'm experiencing. And I guess only time will tell, because then is that the successful relationship that we're all looking for, where we truly desire something and then we get it, and then the desire stays there because of how. So if the person is like really precious and I really desire them and they just look to be so precious, and then you get them and then they continue to be precious, they don't become non-precious. Because you know the kids, like, they just want that toy and then they get the toy and then they abandon the toy. Like this toy seems like I can't abandon it because it's too precious, like it means too much and it's too precious and I really want it. And so then I could imagine if I got it, then I'll take really good care of it. And again, because I get so obsessed with this precious toy, I don't want no other toys. And is that the type of mind that I have? Am I mature? Have I risen above the forest? And is that why I've focused and I could imagine myself being obsessed with this one toy? Or is it because I allow myself to become obsessed with things, and maybe people don't allow themselves to become obsessed with it because they don't know what love is, so they don't know how to love. And for me, I've learned to love myself so much that maybe I've learned how to treat somebody in a precious way with desire. So they're precious and I desire them, because then Lola is precious, but do I desire her? And so I feel like the mixture of precious and desire, really wanting it, maybe that's what becomes a natural monogamy, rather than this idea of it of like, okay, so now I have to be monogamous because now we're in a relationship. Okay, I'm gonna marry you, so now I have to be monogamous. It's like, no, that's a forceful way of doing it. So then maybe monogamy is this natural thing that happens when preciousness and desire meet and they stay. And I think I desire to have that. Because I hear of, like, for example, my granddad, he was like a bit obsessed with my grandma, and I think it's the cutest thing, and I kind of desire that. I desire that for somebody to, and also I feel like I'm capable of achieving that, for somebody to stay completely besotted with me for the rest of time. Is that insecurity? Was that born from insecurity because I feel so unloved that I need to be loved? So then flipping it around, no, that's because I'm experiencing that towards somebody and I'm giving that. So I'm not receiving it, I'm giving it, and I want to give that. Like, I want to be besotted with him, and I want to treat him preciously, and I want to desire him, and I want that to stay like that forever, because that would make me very happy. So wow. And I don't feel like I'm forcing that. I feel like it's just something that I want. And then I'd be absolutely scared that it wouldn't be reciprocated, because then the reciprocation of it, of somebody feeling like that towards you, I guess then is the true real match of something that can be natural monogamous through the rest of time, through the test of time, or through a long time. So I want to close this conversation with a conclusion of saying that maybe monogamy is for the experienced or the mature, because some people are just born mature without experience, I don't know, and then people call them old souls, but I don't know why that happens. So maybe monogamy is more natural for the mature or for the experienced, or for the ones who find that perfect match of desire and preciousness, and they want that to carry on. And maybe that's what monogamy is. And so don't judge yourself if you're not there, because you can't force that. Either it happens naturally or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, then you're supposed to be playing, you're supposed to be experiencing the forest, and so then why force yourself to be mature when you're in the forest and you're pretending that you're mature and you're out of the forest and you're not. You're in the forest, you can't see everything properly, you haven't risen above it all. So then be there, be in the forest, play your grounds, because technically if you're in a forest you actually want to be there, and if you don't, you would rise up above the forest anyway. So if you're in the forest, it means you want to be there, so then you might as well stop judging yourself, stop forcing yourself to be. Guys, what are you doing? Lola? I don't know if you can hear, but they do this all the time. Oops. All the time. She has a real big problem with him, and I think she's pregnant by him, so that's a bit weird. So can't you treat your baby daddy? Can't you treat your baby daddy nicer than that? Anyway, so don't judge yourself for where you are. Just be where you are and enjoy it. And if you want to If you want to be monogamous, I feel like, you know, experience it all and then rise above it all, and then or we're bound to find the one that matches perfectly, where monogamy is natural and you don't have to be mature or immature. It just happens and it's natural. So, quote of the week today. Bigamy, which is the opposite of monogamy, I didn't know that. Bigamy is having one wife too many. Monogamy is the same. I thought that was a funny quote because everyone is too much, isn't it? To be honest, if somebody's too much here, I feel like that becomes also natural monogamy, because it's just too much to deal with, and then you've already got too much on one plate and it's like, oh no thank you, and you're just overstressed with this one and you don't want anything else. So unless the one that you're overstressed with becomes undesirable and you actually just like wish that they were not alive and you wish that they weren't in your life, that's the only time you would probably cheat, is when you start wishing that they weren't there. But if you liked that they were there and they were too much, then maybe that's another form of natural monogamy, because it's just too much to deal with other people, because this one is just too much. So maybe that's another form of natural monogamy. But I thought it was funny. So, closing message from me: go and enjoy yourselves. Play with whatever. Play with monogamy, play with bigamy. Go enjoy yourselves, as long as you're transparent. I know we're a little bit shy with transparency sometimes, because am I really gonna be transparent right now? No. Am I gonna be like, excuse me, I have a crush on you, sir? No, I'm not going to do that. But if somebody asks me things, I'll be transparent, then I'll be honest. So I feel like we need to be transparent. Are you feeling monogamous? Is this a natural monogamy? No, yes. You know, be transparent about what you're doing, and then play and enjoy yourself. So yeah, that's my message for today. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation. I hope that we've like concluded some things here today. And most importantly, don't judge yourself. Okay, goodbye. I'll see you next time.